This past weekend, Disney hosted Destination D23 at the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. Many different panels, presentations, and displays were showcased during the three-day event. However, this year was different because there was no Parks panel, usually where Imagineering talks about their upcoming projects, providing some announcements and some new details on already announced projects. While this was the case, the many Disney parks weren't completely ignored because some announcements did happen during the other panels. From a repainting of the Cinderella Castle to a new Moana-themed restaurant in Hong Kong, and yes, even a short amount of time was dedicated to Disneyland Paris. Some new information regarding the opening of what is the biggest expansion to the resort since the opening of Walt Disney Studios Park was shared alongside some very good footage from within World of Frozen. So today, let's go over what was announced and try figuring out when all this may open. Before we begin, I'm so happy to announce that our merchandise shop with designs inspired by both the channel and the many worlds of the Disney parks is now live. You can check all the items out at shop.themainstreetnews.com, linked down below. I had a blast coming up with these designs, and I'm sure some of you will do so too wearing them. Now, back to the video.
Hi, I'm Michel Ndok from Walt Disney Imagineering Paris, and today we're sharing a little more of the construction of our upcoming World of Frozen. Come take a look. Disneyland Paris is home to many castles, like our majestic Sleeping Beauty Castle and many others. But for the first time in forever, we are adding castles and palaces here in our second park in Paris. There is the elegant Arendelle Castle, which is inspired by traditional Scandinavian architecture. Inside, guests can roam the royal hallways and go in an audience with Queen Elsa and Queen Anna. Disney Imagineers have just completed the installation of Elsa's Ice Palace on top of the North Mountain, the highest point of World of Frozen. With its height and scale, the Ice Palace, made out of more than 30 pieces, will for sure become a beacon that guests walk towards as they approach this new immersive area. Day by day, Arendelle becomes more lively. But behind the scenes in World of Frozen and our other experiences, there's still a lot to achieve. But one thing is certain, we will welcome our guests and fans to World of Frozen in the spring of 2026.
Who you just saw is Michel Ndok, the Portfolio Executive Director at Walt Disney Imagineering Paris inside the World of Frozen. Thanks to this video, we now have an opening time frame for the entirety of Disney Adventure World, because World of Frozen won't be alone, but rather accompanied by everything we've been talking for a long time. Adventure Way, with its gardens and ride, the Rapunzel Spin, the Adventure Bay Lake, with its many kiosks and restaurants, with a special shout-out to the Regal View restaurant, a very large character dining experience with some incredible views over the lake, the new nighttime spectacular in the water, which will be something never before seen in Disneyland Paris, and then, yes, World of Frozen, with all that includes. Now, the reason I displayed the full video is because it gives us some great close-ups with the land that we couldn't see before. At the start, behind Ndok is the back of Arendelle, with the entrance to Frozen Ever After, the first e-ticket of the expansion, which will be followed by The Lion King some years down the road. We can see that the sign is already in place above the entrance, and also that everything is looking very complete with just some final touches still needing to be added. He then passes in front of the main store here, which is also the exit of Frozen Ever After. It moves close to the marina in the right. Here we can see the Arendelle Castle in the background, with the entrance to something that's unique to the Parisian version in front, the Royal Meet and Greet. We see a first glimpse of what the inside of the castle looks like, with its grand walls and ceilings adorned with portraits of the kings and queens that lived here until Anna and Elsa. I feel like this will add quite a bit to the overall experience, because you can actually go into the castle, or feel like you go into the castle, since this is actually a building a bit to the left of the actual castle. We then see the installation of the Ice Palace, but Disneyland Paris also shared a time-lapse of this installation that I feel is a much better showcase. We've already discussed this some weeks ago, but if you haven't watched that video, the castle is 13 meters tall and sits nicely near the highest peak of the entire expansion in North Mountain. I recommend you watch my Disney Adventure World from the Sky video to really understand everything that's currently under construction for the park, because, as I've said already, Frozen is far from being the only thing coming next year. Speaking of, we got the first announcement regarding the opening timeframe for Adventure World, which confirms some of the rumors and my speculation from a couple of months ago, that Disney intends to open this spring. Now, spring goes from March 20th up until June 20th, give or take a few days depending on the year. For Disney to say that World of Frozen and hence Disney Adventure World will open during this season, I speculate it won't be too long after winter comes to an end. I've used this argument before and I will continue to use it. This expansion has a lot of green spaces, trees, and just nature, and opening such a major event in the history of the resort during the winter or colder months does not make any sense. So I think that while Disney could possibly open it some months earlier, they are focusing on April to do so. Normally in mid to late April, trees are in full bloom, and this will matter a lot, as I'm sure Disney wants the park to look its best. If we go by the historical significance of dates, I see two possibilities. March 16th, which is the opening day of Walt Disney Studios Park. While it's technically still winter, it would give Disney some days before the spring break crowds. The second is April 12th, the opening day of the Disneyland Paris Resort. While Parisian kids are still in school, some parts of France are enjoying spring break, but the most important side to choosing this date, in my opinion, would be the better weather and look of all the lush landscaping. So again, in my opinion, April 12th is the strongest contender for the opening of Disney Adventure World. Of course, this is just speculation on my part, and I may be completely wrong, so don't make any plans before Disney announces a concrete date, as you may miss everything by just a few days. Now, once it opens, let's say on April 12th, it's likely that many people would have already set foot into Adventure Bay, and the World of Frozen due to media previews, cast member previews, and soft openings. These are always hard to try and figure out because they may take a week, a couple of weeks, or just a few days. During these, the cast members fine-tune the operations and make sure everything is ready to receive all the crowds. So they're essential moments before opening anything. Some very exciting times are coming soon for us Disney fans, as Disney Adventure World promises a lot. It'll be interesting to see how Disneyland Paris starts promoting this huge expansion in the coming months, leading up to the opening. Of course, you can always rely on me to be here and talk about everything that comes our way. If you want to get even more content, make sure to check our Patreon for some fun perks. And now, as always, thank you for watching this shorter video, and that's a wrap.